ESO build video. This is my PvE warden tank build. There are some things I wish I could change about it, such as race, but it works nevertheless. Anyways, let's get stats. We are sitting on 2.1k mag recovery, 1.7 health, and 2.1 stamina recovery. We are at cap resist, we're even slightly over, and with our monster helm that will go up even more. Sitting at 1 max health. These stats vary depending on your food, and if you can keep up the warden's toughness buff. We're sitting on 18,000 stamina, 14,000 magicka, and with high recoveries, we pretty much have infinite sustain outside a block. Near infinite sustain if you keep up your potion. And with this little thing, we have near infinite stamina. Lots of recovery. This build is built to solo tank and be selfish. Well, aside from those abilities, you are a selfish tank. You're built to survive and not have to rely on a healer. This build is pretty much built to run with 3 DPS. Anyways, skills. I'll try to go over them in best detail as I can. Your Bull Netch. It restores 4.9k stamina over 25 seconds and grants you major brutality and sorcery. That's not why we're using it. We're using it for the stamina. And every 5 seconds, the Netch removes 1 negative effect. For its full duration, it will remove 5. However, you can spam it like this and keep removing negative effects. It is a self-cleanse, and it doesn't cost anything. It is a very helpful ability. Next, Frozen Device. This is your chain, because a warden doesn't, because most classes don't have one. This is your chain. You can set 3 up, and all 3 that walk into them will be teleported at your feet. So, this next is Pierce Armor. This is your main taunt, your stamina taunt. Now, most tanks I've seen don't use this to how it's meant to be. They either let it run out, or they try using Inner Rage, but this is your main taunt. Next, this is how we generate our ultimate crazy fast, is Heroic Slash. You can use the other one, but I like using this one. Does minor maim and grants you minor heroism, granting you 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds for 12 seconds. It's really good. Next, this is your main ultimate, Permafrost. Deals frost damage. That's not why we're using it. It reduces your enemy's movement speed, which is good for taunting, but why we are using it is you and nearby allies gain major protection, reducing your damage taken by 30%. Even with the upcoming update, I'm probably going to still use this ultimate and this build. It's really good. Back bar. Oh, and Animal Companions, 4th ability. The Gripping Shards. It's your main move ability. And it scales off your max health, so you can get, the higher the health you have, the more damage this will do. And obviously Permafrost, your ultimate. Sword and Board. First and second ability, and you want all of these. Next is Bone Surge. This scales off your max health. Again, higher health, higher damage shields. But you want a nearby ally to take this and gain the damage shield for 31% of their maximum health, and major vitality. That's the main reason we use this, is for the major vitality buff, for our group and for ourselves. This is from the Undaunted skill line. Fourth ability you unlock. And you want these passives too. You want all your class passives. Warden has some crazy strong class passives. Next is our resist buff, Ice Fortress. We use this one for the minor protection. You can use the other one, so your allies can be further away, but I like using this one. Selfish tank. It's meant to be. Next, Arctic Blast. This is your heal, and it does additional heal over time for 5 seconds, and this is also your main stun. While it persists, the wind goes outwards, dealing frost damage, and if the enemies are hit 3 times, it stuns them for 4 seconds. The heal also scales off your maximum health. Next, your second damage shield. You don't have to use this, but you want to use this. Bolster your defenses, gaining a damage shield. It also scales off your maximum health, higher damage shield. You reflect, and while you have it active, you reflect the next harmful direct damage projectile cast at you. While you have a shield equipped, the amount of damage you can block is increased by 10%, and the cost of blocking is reduced. Basically, you want to be on this back bar when you're blocking. That way, it costs less, and you can block more. And obviously heal. And stun. And obviously, we use trees. However, you can swap to Warhorn. I don't have the skill points to unlock it at the minute, but you can use Warhorn and morph it to Aggressive Warhorn. It gives major force and the same magic and stamina recovery, but instead of 20 seconds, it's 30. And if you feel like you're doing more than... If you have a resist buff already, you can take this out and run Vigor instead for another heal. It's not that big, because it scales off your weapon damage and max stamina. So it only goes up by a little. Next, the food. And you want to use these tri-stats. The food, you can run 3 different things. I run Bewitching Sugar Skulls, mainly for the maximum resources. The health recovery is nice, but we don't need it. But again, it's a nice passive heal, having high health recovery. You can also run Jewels of Misrule to get your recovery even higher. You'll lose maximum stats, however, but you'll gain plenty of stamina and magicka recovery. You lose quite a bit of health recovery, but your magicka and stamina recoveries go up to 2,600 each. It's really nice, but again, I like my sugar skulls. You can also run this to get your health recovery back and keep the magicka and stamina recovery. I won't show because I only have the one. Actually, fuck it. It's really the main food you want to use. But again, I prefer just to use my sugar skulls. I lose quite a bit of recovery, but we don't need it. We are okay. Next, the sets. This is where it all starts to make a lot of sense. Eternal Vigor. Now, I don't have a lot of the right traits on some of this. Although, what it does is Magicka, Stamina Recovery, Health Recovery, and for the 5-piece you get a health bonus, adds 321 Stamina and Magicka Recovery, while your health is above 50%. It adds almost 1,000 health recovery when you drop below that 50% threshold. So add what we have, plus another 900, and that's our maximum health recovery. It's ridiculous. And you want this in Decisive, and you want this in Invigorating or Sturdy, just to add extra recovery on both. And you want Decisive on this too. Weapon doesn't matter. Next, Lord Warden, and you want this set on the weapons and jewelry or body. It don't matter. Infused on all three. 1 Magicka Recovery, 2 Tri-Stats. And obviously you want these purple. I just haven't had the time to upgrade them. Next, Lord Warden. This is where we get extra protection. That's armor, and when you take damage, you have to have a 50% chance to summon a shadow orb for 10 seconds, and increase your physical and spell resistance of you and group members within 8 meters by a little over 3,000. It has 100% uptime. And as a tank, you will be getting hit a lot. So, it should never be down. Next. Oh, and you want both these in Sturdy. Next. Leeching. This is where a lot of even more passive healing comes in. Does healing taken, and health. And when you take damage, you summon a cloud of leeching poison under the assailant. The cloud deals 1,300 poison damage every 1 second for 5 seconds, and heals you for 100% of the damage caused. And this can happen every 5 seconds. It's an AoE on the ground, a little smaller than these, a little smaller than that, but it can hit everyone in it. Anything in it. It will deal damage and heal you. The more you stack, the more healing you will get. And you want it on the body or weapons and jewelry. It doesn't matter. This drops in Imperial City Prison. You can go in on normal or vet. You does not have to be vet, but you need vet for this. You need vet for Lord Warden. And you want 1 reinforced and the rest all in Sturdy. I don't have all the right traits. I haven't had the time. But yes, it does not matter where Eternal Vigor or Leeching is. They're both heavy sets. Next. Oh. And you want all the heavy armor passives, because it will increase your physical resistance, your health recovery, and restore magic and stamina when you take damage, increase your maximum health, and depending on if you use a frost staff, you can use a frost staff if you want. I don't see the need for a frost staff, but depending on if you do or not, you restore magic or stamina by 25% more, and increase your healing received by 8%. Another one you will want is Banish the Wicked. This tank does a surprising amount of damage, mainly due to gripping shards Arctic Blast, and Permafrost if you have it up. Next is champion points. These are good for everything. I've took this tank through everything. You want 55 Arcanist, 65 Moon Caliph, 10 healthy, 20 tenacity. You can move these healthy points into tenacity if you want. This is just what I'm comfortable with. Shadow Ward, reduce the cost of block. And you want this passive. It increases the quality you find in treasure chests. You want that. Blessed. 40 into Blessed. 35 Elfborn. 28 Element Expert. 10 Spell Erosion. I didn't have any other place to put these points, so they just go in here. I did want to get this, but I didn't. I don't. Physical Weapon Expert, you don't need anything in here, but it increases the damage of your light and heavy attacks, so that's fine. And this, when you block a melee attack, you have a 15% chance to deal 2,500 physical damage to the enemy. We want this passive since we will be blocking. And obviously, Thermitage, like I said, for this passive, you shouldn't be falling below 20% health, but if you major heroism. Next, Ironclad, 72, 30 into Spell Shield, 13 into Resistant, because I did take this character into PvP for a bit, just to get tier 1 rewards at the end of the campaign. 40, 40, 40. You don't need this. Again, you can set this to how you like, but this is just how I like it. Next, Bastion. Increase your effective damage shields. You can move the points in Resistant to Bastion, but again, I did take him into PvP, so I moved some points around from Bastion to that, but that's where you want him. And then 25 into Heavy Armor Focus. Oh yes, and you want reduced to Bash, so put leftover points from the green tree into Bashing Focus. Now, for the race, you do not normally want a Wood Elf. You want a Nord. But, where this character was a DPS toon that I changed to a tank, here he is. And obviously, if you do make him a Wood Elf, you do want these passives. Decrease your fall damage and a bow. Increase your stealth detection radius. You don't need this, although you do want this for the movement speed after you roll dodge, if you need to roll dodge. Stamina recovery. That's why we have a Magicka recovery glyph instead of another tri-stat. Increase your maximum stamina and poison resist, and you gain immunity to poison status effects. This is good, but again, you want a Nord. This is just what I happen to have. Plus, a Nord will make it to where you can run a different monster helm. But yes, a Nord's what you want. I can make a guide on which monster helm you'd like. I think it's called Malbona the Scourge. It gives you major vitality and steals health from an enemy that damaged you. That's the one you want if you're a Nord. Anyway, time for a quick demonstration. Now, we are in Vet Helra Citadel for this. I don't intend to be a thing, but
the warrior and his army of Old Yakuda claim the Citadel of Helra.
And again, this is Vet, not normal.
Trespass and die. You have been warned.
And I obviously haven't upgraded my mount speed to the max yet. But we will see. Well, I'll show you just how good, surprisingly good, this build is.
My soldiers of sand and steel will strip your flesh.
Now, for...
Too many of them. Beware the horde.
Okay. So we are going to run all the way to the door. And again, I would be much more comfortable as this if this was a Nord. There's Lord Warden. Well,
You have come farther than those feeble undaunted, but you will fall just the same.
yep. Yep. You can pretty much sustain everything. And again, a surprising amount of damage for a tank. I've been thinking about changing it up, but it works so well as it is. And we can actually make this better, or do more damage. But again, it works as it is. Well, I think that's a good enough demonstration. They'll never kill us. Probably my favorite tank build. And there's the insignia that it was, yes, Vet Hellra. Anyway, hope you all enjoy the build, or just enjoyed it in general. And I will see you all in the next build.